Sonnet 87 by William Shakespeare. Read for LibriVox.org by Andrew Gauntz. Farewell, thou art too dear for my possessing, and like enough thou know'st thy estimate. The charter of thy worth gives thee releasing, my bonds in thee are all determinate. For how do I hold thee but by thy granting, and for that riches where is my deserving? The cause of this fair gift in me is wanting, and so my patent back again is swerving. Thyself thou gav'st, thy own worth then not knowing, or me to whom thou gav'st it else mistaking. So thy great gift upon misprison growing comes home again on better judgment making. Thus have I had thee as a dream doth flatter, in sleep a king, but waking no such matter. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 116 by William Shakespeare. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark, that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song from As You Like It by William Shakespeare. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and tune his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather. Who doth ambition shun, and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats, and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To Celia by Ben Jonson. Read for LibriVox.org by Sandra. To Celia. Drink to me only with thine eyes, and I will pledge with mine, or leave a kiss but in the cup, and I'll not look for wine. The thirst that from the soul doth rise doth ask a drink divine, but might I of Jove's nectar sup, I would not change for thine. I sent thee late a rosy wreath, not so much honouring thee, as giving it a hope that there it could not withered be. But thou thereon didst only breathe, and sentest it back to me, since when it grows and smells, I swear, not of itself, but thee. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song by Edmund Waller. Read for LibriVox.org by Algie Pug. Go, lovely rose, tell her that wastes her time and me, that now she knows, when I resemble her to thee, how sweet and fair she seems to be. Tell her that's young, and shuns to have her graces spied, that, hadst thou sprung in deserts where no men abide, thou must have uncommended died. Small is the worth of beauty from the light retired. Bid her come forth, suffer herself to be desired, and not blush so to be admired. Then die, that she the common fate of all things rare may read in thee, how small a part of time they share that are so wondrous sweet and fair. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To the Nightingale by John Milton. Read for LibriVox.org by Niccolo Cataruzza. O nightingale, that on yon bloomy spray warblest at eve, when all the woods are still, thou with fresh hope the lover's heart dost fill, while the jolly hours lead on propitious May. Thy liquid notes that close the eye of day, first heard before the shallow cuckoo's bill, portend success in love. Oh, if Jove's will have linked that amorous power to thy soft lay! Now timely sing, ere the rude bird of hate foretell my hopeless doom in some grove nigh, as thou from year to year hast sung too late for my relief, yet hadst no reason why. Whether the Muse or Love call thee his mate, both them I serve, and of their train am I. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lycidas by John Milton. Read for LibriVox.org by Algie Pug. Lycidas, a lament for a friend drowned in his passage from Chester on the Irish Sea, 1637. Yet once more, O ye laurels, and once more, ye myrtles brown, with ivy never sere, I come to pluck your berries harsh and crude, and with forced fingers rude shatter your leaves before the mellowing year. Bitter complaint and sad occasion dear compels me to disturb your season due. For Lycidas is dead, dead ere his prime, young Lycidas, and hath not left his peer. Who would not sing for Lycidas? He knew himself to sing, and build the lofty rhyme. He must not float upon his watery bier, unwept, and welter to the parching wind, without the meed of some melodious tear. Begin, then, sisters of the sacred well, that from beneath the seat of Jove doth spring, begin, and somewhat loudly sweep the string. Hence with denial vain and coy excuse, so may some gentle muse with lucky words favour my destined urn, and as he passes, turn and bid fair peace be to my sable shroud. For we were nursed upon the selfsame hill, fed the same flock, by fountain, shade, and rill. Together both, ere the high lawns appeared under the opening eyelids of the morn, we drove afield, and both together heard what time the grey fly winds her sultry horn, battening our flocks with the fresh dews of night, oft till the star that rose at evening bright toward heaven's descent had sloped his westering wheel. Meanwhile the rural ditties were not mute, tempered to the oaten flute. Rough satyrs danced, and fauns with cloven heel from the glad sound would not be absent long, and old Demotis loved to hear our song. But oh, the heavy change now thou art gone, now thou art gone and never must return. Thee, shepherd, thee the woods and desert caves, with wild thyme and the gadding vine o'ergrown, and all their echoes mourn. The willows and the hazel copses green shall now no more be seen fanning their joyous leaves to thy soft lays. As killing as the canker to the rose, or taintworm to the weanling herds that graze, or frost to flowers that their gay wardrobe wear when first the whitethorn blows, such, Lycidas, thy loss to shepherd's ear. Where were ye, nymphs, when the remorseless deep closed o'er the head of your loved Lycidas? For neither were ye playing on the steep where your old bards, the famous Druids, lie, nor on the shaggy top of Mona high, nor yet where Deva spreads her wizard stream. Ah me! I fondly dream had ye been there, for what could that have done? What could the Muse herself that Orpheus bore, the Muse herself, for her enchanting son, whom universal nature did lament, when by the rout that made the hideous roar his gory visage down the stream was sent, down the swift Hebrus to the Lesbian shore? Alas! what boots it, with incessant care, to tend the homely, slighted shepherd's trade, and strictly meditate the thankless Muse? Were it not better done, as others use, to sport with Amaryllis in the shade, or with the tangles of Neaera's hair? Fame is the spur that the clear spirit doth raise, that last infirmity of noble mind, to scorn delights and live laborious days. But the fair guerdon when we hope to find, and think to burst out into sudden blaze, comes the blind Fury with the abhorred shears, and slits the thin-spun life. But not the praise, Phoebus replied, and touched my trembling ears. Fame is no plant that grows on mortal soil, nor in a glistering foil set off to the world, nor in broad rumour lies, but lives and spreads aloft by those pure eyes and perfect witness of all-judging Jove. As he pronounces lastly on each deed, of so much fame in heaven expect thy meed. O fountain Arethusa, and thou honoured flood, smooth sliding Mincius, crowned with vocal reeds, that strain I heard was of a higher mood. But now my oat proceeds, and listens to the herald of the sea, that came in Neptune's plea. He asked the waves, and asked the felon winds, what hard mishap hath doomed this gentle swain? And questioned every gust of rugged wings that blows from off each beaked promontory. They knew not of his story. And sage Hippotades their answer brings, that not a blast was from his dungeon strayed. The air was calm, and on the level brine sleek Panope with all her sisters played. It was that fatal and perfidious bark, built in the eclipse, and rigged with curses dark, that sunk so low that sacred head of thine. Next Camus, reverend sire, went footing slow, his mantle hairy and his bonnet sedge inwrought with figures dim, and on the edge like to that sanguine flower inscribed with woe. Ah, who hath reft, quoth he, my dearest pledge? Last came, and last did go, the pilot of the Galilean lake. 2 massy keys he bore, of metals twain, the golden opes, the iron shuts amain. He shook his mitred locks, and stern bespake, how well could I have spared for thee, young swain, and now of such as, for their bellies' sake, creep and intrude, and climb into the fold, of other care they little reckoning make than how to scramble at the shearer's feast, and shove away the worthy bidden guest. Blind mouths, that scarce themselves know how to hold a sheep-hook, or have learned aught else the least that to the faithful herdsman's art belongs. What recks it them? What need they? They are sped, and when they list, their lean and flashy songs grate on their scrannel pipes of wretched straw. The hungry sheep look up, and are not fed, But, swoln with wind, and the rank mist they draw, Rot inwardly, and foul contagion spread. Besides what the grim wolf, with privy paw, Daily devours apace, and nothing said, but that two-handed engine at the door Stands ready to smite once, and smite no more. Return, Alpheus, the dread voice is past That shrunk thy streams. Return, Sicilian Muse, and call the vales, and bid them hither cast Their bells and flowerets of 1,000 hues. Ye valleys low, where the mild whispers use Of shades, and wanton winds, and gushing brooks, On whose fresh lap the swart star sparely looks, Throw hither all your quaint enamelled eyes, That on the green turf suck the honeyed showers, And purple all the ground with vernal flowers. Bring the wraith primrose that forsaken dies, The tufted croto and pale jessamine, The white pink and the pansy freaked with jet, The glowing violet, the musk rose, and the well-attired woodbine, With cowslips wan that hang the pensive head, And every flower that sad embroidery wears. Bid Amaranthus all his beauty shed, And daffodillies fill their cups with tears, To strew the laureate hearse where Lycid lies. For so, to interpose a little ease, Let our frail thoughts dally with false surmise. Ah me! whilst thee the shores and sounding seas Wash far away, where'er thy bones are hurled, Whether beyond the stormy Hebrides, Where thou, perhaps under the whelming tide, Visit'st the bottom of the monstrous world; Or whether thou, to our moist vows denied, Sleep'st by the fable of Bolerus old, Where the great vision of the guarded mount Looks towards Namancos and Bayona's hold. Look homeward, angel, now, and melt with ruth, And, O ye dolphins, waft the hapless youth. Weep no more, woeful shepherds, weep no more, For Lycidas, your sorrow, is not dead, Sunk though he be beneath the watery floor. So sinks the day star in the ocean bed, And yet anon repairs his drooping head, And tricks his beams, and with new spangled ore Flames in the forehead of the morning sky. So Lycidas, sunk low, but mounted high, Through the dear might of him that walked the waves, Where, other groves and other streams along, With nectar pure his oozy locks he laves, And hears the unexpressive nuptial song In the blest kingdoms meek of joy and love. There entertain him all the saints above, In solemn troops and sweet societies, That sing, and singing in their glory move, And wipe the tears for ever from his eyes. Now, Lycidas, the shepherds weep no more, Henceforth thou art the genius of the shore In thy large recompense, and shalt be good To all that wander in that perilous flood. Thus sang the uncouth swain to the oaks and rills, While the still morn went out with sandals grey. He touched the tender stops of various quills, With eager thought warbling his Doric lay. And now the sun had stretched out all the hills, And now was dropped into the western bay. At last he rose, and twitched his mantle blue, To-morrow to fresh woods and pastures new. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray, read for LibriVox.org by Caveat. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. The lowing herd winds slowly o'er the lea. The ploughman homeward plods his weary way, And leaves the world to darkness and to me. Now fades the glimmering landscape on the sight, And all the air a solemn stillness holds, Save where the beetle wheels his droning flight, and drowsy tinklings lull the distant folds. Save that from yonder ivy-mantled tower the moping owl does to the moon complain, of such as, wandering near her secret bower, molest her ancient solitary reign. Beneath those rugged elms that yew trees shade, where heaves the turf in many a mouldering heap, each in his narrow cell forever laid, the rude forefathers of the hamlet sleep. The breezy call of incense-breathing morn, the swallow twittering from the straw-built shed, the cock's shrill clarion or the echoing horn, no more shall rouse them from their lowly bed. For them no more the blazing hearth shall burn, or busy housewife ply her evening care. No children run to lisp their sire's return, or climb his knees the envied kiss to share. Oft did the harvest to their sickle yield, their furrow oft the stubborn glebe has broke. How jocund did they drive their team afield, how bowed the woods beneath their sturdy stroke. Let not ambition mock their useful toil, their homely joys and destiny obscure, nor grandeur hear with a disdainful smile the short and simple annals of the poor. The boast of heraldry, the pomp of power, all that beauty, all that welfare gave, await alike the inevitable hour, the paths of glory lead but to the grave. Nor you, ye proud, impute to these the fault, if memory o'er the tomb no trophies rise, where through the long-drawn aisle and fretted vault the pealing anthem swells the note of praise. Can storied urn or animated bust back to its mansion call the fleeting breath? Can honour's voice provoke the silent dust, or flattery soothe the dull, cold ear of death? Perhaps in this neglected spot is laid some heart once pregnant with celestial fire, hands that the rod of empire might have swayed, or walked to ecstasy the living lyre. But knowledge to their eyes, her ample page, rich with the spoils of time, did ne'er unroll. Chill penury repossessed their noble rage, and froze the genial current of the soul. Full many a gem of purest ray serene the dark, unfathomed caves of ocean bear, full many a flower is born to blush unseen, and waste its sweetness on the desert air. Some village Hampton that, with doubtless breast, the little tyrant of his fields withstood, some mute inglorious Milton here may rest, some Cromwell, guiltless of his country's blood. The applause of listening senates to command, the threats of pain and ruin to despise, to scatter plenty o'er a smiling land, and read their history in a nation's eyes. Their lot forbade, nor circumcised alone, their growing virtues but their crimes confined, forbade to wade through slaughter to a throne, and shut the gates of mercy on mankind. The struggling pangs of conscience truth to hide, to quench the blushes of an ingenious shame, or heap the shrine of luxury and pride with incense kindled at a muse's flame. Far from the madding crowd ignoble strife their sober wishes never learned to stray. Along the cool sequestered vale of life they kept the noiseless tenor of their way. Yet even these bones from insult to protect, some frail memorial still erect and nigh, with uncouth rhymes and shapeless sculpture decked, implores the passing tribute of a sigh. Their name, their years, spelt by the unlettered muse, the place of fame and elegy supply, and many a holy text around she strews, that teach the rustic moralist to die. For whom to dumb forgetfulness a prey, this pleasing, anxious being ere resigned, left the warm precincts of the cheerful day, nor cast one longing, lingering look behind. On some fond breast the parting soul relies, some pious drops the closing eye requires. Even from the tomb the voice of nature cries, even in our ashes live their wanton fires. For thee, who, mindful of the honoured dead, dost in these lines their artless tale relate, If chance, by lonely contemplation led, some kindred spirit shall inquire thy fate. Haply some hoary-headed swain may say, Oft have we seen him at the peep of dawn, brushing with hasty steps the dews away, to meet the sun upon the upland lawn. There at the foot of yonder nodding beech, that wreathes its old fantastic roots so high, his listless length at noontide would bestretch, and pour upon the brook that babbles by. Hark, by yon wood, now smiling as in scorn, muttering his wayward fancies he would rove, now drooping, woeful wan, like one forlorn, or crazed with care, or crossed in hopeless love. One morn I missed him on the customed hill, along the heath, and near his favourite tree. Another came, nor yet beside the rill, nor up the lawn, nor up the wood was he. The next, with dirges due in sad array, slow through the church-way path we saw him borne. Approach and read, for thou canst read, the lay, engraved on the stone beneath yon aged thorn. The epitaph. Here rests his head upon the lap of earth, a youth to fortune and to fame unknown. Fair science frowned not on his humble birth, and melancholy marked him for her own. Large was his bounty and his soul sincere. Heaven did a recompense as largely send. He gave to misery all he had, a tear. He gained from heaven, 'twas all he wished, a friend. No further seek his merits to disclose, or draw his frailties from their dread abode. There they alike in trembling hope repose, the bosom of his Father and his God. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Banks of Doon by Robbie Burns. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Ye banks and braes o' bonny Doon, how can ye bloom so fresh and fair? How can ye chant, ye little birds, and I sae weary, full o' care? Thou break my heart, thou warbling bird, that wantons through the flowering thorn. Thou minds me o' departed joys, departed never to return. Thou break my heart, thou bonny bird, that sings beside thy mate. For sae I sat, and sae I sang, and wistna o' my fate. Oft hae I roved by bonny Doon, to see the rose and woodbine twine, and ilka bird sang o' its love, and fondly sae did I o' mine. Wi' lightsome heart I poured a rose full sweet upon its thorny tree, and my false lover stole my rose, but he left the thorn wi' me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song by Robert Burns. Read for LibriVox.org by Kerry Adams. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. As fair thou art, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till a' the seas gang dry. Till a' the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt wi' the sun, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands o' life shall run. And fare thee weel, my only love, and fare thee weel a while, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 mile. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
I wandered lonely as a cloud by William Wordsworth. Read for LibriVox.org by M. Lee. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Youth and Age by S.T. Coleridge. Read for LibriVox.org by Krista Zaleski. Verse, a breeze mid blossoms straying, where hope clung feeding like a bee. Both were mine, life went a-maying, with nature, hope, and poesy, when I was young. When I was young? Ah, woeful when! Ah, for the change twixt now and then! This breathing house not built with hands, this body that does me grievous wrong, or airy cliffs and glittering sands, how lightly then it flashed along, like those trim skiffs unknown of yore, on winding lakes and rivers wide, that ask no aid of sail or oar, that fear no spite of wind or tide. Not cared this body for wind or weather, when youth and I lived in together. Flowers are lovely, love is flower-like, friendship is a sheltering tree. Oh, the joys that came down shower-like, of friendship, love, and liberty, ere I was old. Ere I was old? Ah, woeful ere, which tells me youth's no longer here. O youth, for years so many and sweet, 'tis known that thou and I were one. I'll think it but a fond conceit, it cannot be that thou art gone. Thy vesper bell hath not yet tolled, and thou wert I a masker bold. What strange disguise hast now put on, to make believe that thou art gone? I see these locks in silvery slips, this drooping gait, this altered size, but springtide blossoms on thy lips, and tears take sunshine from thine eyes. Life is but thought, so think I will, that youth and I are housemates still. Dewdrops are the gems of morning, but the tears of mournful eve, where no hope is life's a warning, that only serves to make us grieve, when we are old. That only serves to make us grieve, with oft and tedious taking leave, like some poor nigh related guest, that may not rudely be dismissed, yet hath outstayed his welcome while, and tells the jest without the smile. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Kubla Khan by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Read for LibriVox.org by Rita Boutros. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alph the sacred river ran through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea. So twice 5 miles of fertile ground, with walls and towers, were girdled round, And there were gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree. And here were forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep romantic chasm which slanted down the green hill athwart a cedarn cover! A savage place, as holy and enchanted as e'er beneath a waning moon was haunted by woman wailing for her demon lover. And from this chasm, with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast thick pants were breathing, a mighty fountain momently was forced, amid whose swift half intermitted burst huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail, or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail. And mid these dancing rocks at once and ever it flung up momently the sacred river. 5 miles meandering with a mazy motion, through wood and dale the sacred river ran, then reached the caverns measureless to man, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. And mid this tumult Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song, to such a deep delight 'twould win me, that with music loud and long I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, Beware! Beware! His flashing eyes, his floating hair! Weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honey dew hath fed, and drunk the milk of Paradise. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Abu Ben Adam and the Angel by J. H. Leigh Hunt. Read for LibriVox.org by Sandra. Abu Ben Adam, may his tribe increase, awoke one night from a deep dream of peace, and saw within the moonlight in his room, making it rich and like a lily in bloom, an angel writing in a book of gold. Exceeding peace had made Ben Adam bold, and to the presence in the room he said, "What writest thou?" The vision raised its head, and with a look made of all sweet accord, answered, "The names of those who love the Lord." "And is mine one?" said Abu. "Nay, not so," replied the angel. Abu spoke more low, but cheerily still, and said, "I pray thee then write me as one that loves his fellow men." The angel wrote and vanished. The next night it came again with a great wakening light, and showed the names whom love of God had blessed. And lo, Ben Adam's name led all the rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Song of the Shirt by Thomas Hood. Read for LibriVox.org by Rita Boutros. With fingers weary and worn, with eyelids heavy and red, a woman sat in unwomanly rags, plying her needle and thread. Stitch, 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 in poverty, hunger, and dirt, and still with a voice of dolorous pitch she sang the song of the shirt. Work, 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 while the cock is crowing aloof, and work, 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 till the stars shine through the roof. It's, oh, to be a slave, along with the barbarous Turk, where woman has never a soul to save, if this is Christian work. Work, 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 till the brain begins to swim. Work, 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 till the eyes are heavy and dim. Seam and gusset and band, band and gusset and seam, till over the buttons I fall asleep and sew them on in a dream. O men with sisters dear, O men with mothers and wives, it is not linen you're wearing out, but human creatures' lives. Stitch, 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 in poverty, hunger, and dirt, sewing at once with a double thread a shroud as well as a shirt. But why do I talk of death, that phantom of grisly bone? I hardly fear his terrible shape, it seems so like my own. It seems so like my own, because of the fasts I keep. O God, that bread should be so dear, and flesh and blood so cheap! Work, work, work! My labor never flags. And what are its wages? A bed of straw, a crust of bread, and rags. That shattered roof, and this naked floor, a table, a broken chair, and a wall so blank my shadow I thank for sometimes falling there. Work, 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 from weary chime to chime. Work, 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 as prisoners work for crime. Band and gusset and seam, seam and gusset and band, till the heart is sick and the brain benumbed, as well as the weary hand. Work, 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 in the dull December light, and work, 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 when the weather is warm and bright. While underneath the eaves the brooding swallows cling, as if to show me their sunny backs, and twit me with the spring. Oh, but to breathe the breath of the cowslip and primrose sweet, with the sky above my head, and the grass beneath my feet! For only one short hour to feel as I used to feel, before I knew the woes of want, and the walk that costs a meal. Oh, but for one short hour, a respite, however brief! No blessed leisure for love or hope, but only time for grief. A little weeping would ease my heart, but in their briny bed my tears must stop, for every drop hinders needle and thread. With fingers weary and worn, with eyelids heavy and red, a woman sat in unwomanly rags, plying her needle and thread. Stitch, 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 in poverty, hunger, and dirt, and still with a voice of dolorous pitch, would that its tone could reach the rich, she sang this song of the shirt. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Deathbed by Thomas Hood. Read for LibriVox.org by M. Lee. We watched her breathing through the night, her breathing soft and low, as in her breast the wave of life kept heaving to and fro. So silently we seemed to speak, so slowly moved about, as we had lent her half our powers to eke her living out. Our very hopes belied our fears our hopes belied. We thought her dying when she slept, and sleeping when she died. For when the morn came dim and sad, and chill with early showers, her quiet eyelids closed, she had another morn than ours. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Arrow and the Song by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Read for LibriVox.org by Tim Chuang. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where. For, so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow it in its flight. I breathed a song into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where. For who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of song? Long, long afterward, in an oak, I found the arrow, still unbroke. And the song, from beginning to end, I found again in the heart of a friend. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. It little profits that an idle king by this still hearth among these barren crags, matched with an aged wife, I meet and dole unequal laws unto a savage race that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that love me and alone. On shore, and when through scudding drifts of rainy Hyades vex the dim sea, I am become a name. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honoured of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers, far from the ringing plains of windy Troy. I am part of all that I have met, yet all experience is an arch wherethrough gleams that untravelled world whose margin fades for ever and for ever when I move. How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life. Life piled on life were all too little, and of one to me little remains, but every hour is saved from that eternal silence something more, a bringer of new things, and vile it were for some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost bound of human thought. This is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the sceptre and the isle, well loved of me, discerning to fulfil this labour, by slow prudence to make mild a rugged people, and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and the good. Most blameless is he, centred in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail, in offices of tenderness and pay, meet adoration to my household gods when I am gone. He works his work, I mine. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail. There gloom the dark broad seas, my mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me, that ever with a frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine, and opposed free hearts, free foreheads. You and I are old. Old age hath yet his honour and his toil. Death closes all. But something ere the end, some work of noble note may yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks, the long day wanes, the slow moon climbs, the deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off, and sitting well in order, smite the sounding furrows, for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulf will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Crossing the Bar by Lord Tennyson. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call from me, and may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark, and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Lost Mistress by Robert Browning. Read for LibriVox.org by Sowen Kelly Park. The Lost Mistress. All's over then. Does truth sound bitter, as one at first believes? Hark, 'tis the sparrow's good-night twitter about your cottage eaves. And the leaf buds on the vine are woolly. I noticed that to-day. One day more bursts them open filly. You know the red turns grey. Tomorrow we meet the same then, dearest. May I take your hand in mine? Mere friends are we, well, friends the merest. Keep much that I resign. Each glance of the eye so bright and black, though I keep with heart's endeavour your voice when you wish the snowdrops back, though it stay in my soul for ever. That I will but say what mere friends say, or only a thought stronger. I will hold your hand but as long as all may, or so very little longer. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Assolando, Epilogue by Robert Browning. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Assolando, Epilogue. At the midnight in the silence of the sleep time, when you set your fancies free, will they pass to where, by death, fools think, imprisoned, low he lies who once so loved you, whom you loved so? Pity me? Oh, to love so, be so loved, yet so mistaken! What had I on earth to do with the slothful, with the mawkish, the unmanly? Like the aimless, helpless, hopeless did I drivel, being who? One who never turned his back, but marched breast forward, never doubted clouds would break, never dreamed, though right were worsted, wrong would triumph, held we fall to rise, are baffled to fight better, sleep to wake. No, at noonday in the bustle of man's work time, greet the unseen with a cheer. Bid him forward, breast and back as either should be. Strive and thrive. Cry speed, fight on, fare ever there as here. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Qua Cursum Ventus by A. H. Clough. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Qua Cursum Ventus. As ships becalmed at eve that lay, with canvas drooping, side by side, two towers of sail at dawn of day are scarce long leagues apart descried. When fell the night, upsprung the breeze, and all the darkling hours they plied, nor dreamt but each the self-same seas by each was cleaving side by side. Even so, but why the tale reveal of those whom year by year unchanged, brief absence joined anew to feel, astounded, soul from soul estranged? At dead of night their sails were filled, and onward each rejoicing steered. Ah, neither blame, for neither willed or wist what first with dawn appeared. To veer, how vain! On, onward strain, brave barks! In light, in darkness too, through winds and tides one compass guides, to that and your own selves be true. But O blithe breeze, and O great seas, though ne'er, that earliest parting past, on your wide plain they join again, together lead them home at last. One port, methought, alike they sought, one purpose hold where'er they fare. O bounding breeze, O rushing seas, at last, unite them there. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Love Symphony by A.W.E. O'Shaughnessy. Read for LibriVox.org by Ali Rose. Along the garden way just now I heard the flowers speak. The white rose told me of your brow, the red rose of your cheek, the lily of your bended head, the bindweed of your hair. Each looked its loveliest and said, you were more than fair. I went into the wood anon, and heard the wild birds sing. How sweet you were, they warbled on, piped, trilled the selfsame thing. Thrush, blackbird, linnet, without pause, the burden did repeat, and still began again because you were more than sweet. And then I went down to the sea, and heard it murmuring too, part of an ancient mystery, all made of me and you. How many 1,000 years ago I loved and you were sweet. Longer I could not stay, and so I fled back to your feet. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Lynmouth by A.W.E. O'Shaughnessy. Read for LibriVox.org by Ali Rose. Around my love and me the brooding hills, full of delicious murmurs, rise on high, closing upon this spot the summer fills, and over which there rules the summer sky. Behind us on the shore down there the sea roars roughly like a fierce pursuing hound. But all this hour is calm for her and me, and now another hill shuts out the sound. And now we breathe the odours of the glen, and round about us are enchanted things, the bird that hath blithe speech unknown to men, the river keen that hath a voice and sings. The tree that dwells with one ecstatic thought, wider and fairer growing year by year, the flower that flowereth and knoweth naught, the bee that scents the flower and draweth near. Our path is here the rocky winding ledge, that sheer o'erhangs the rapid shouting stream, now dips down smoothly to the quiet edge, where restful waters lie as in a dream. The green exuberant branches overhead sport with the golden magic of the sun, here quite shut out, here like rare jewels shed, to fright the glittering lizards as they run. And woeful are all those mossy floors spread out beneath us in some pathless place, where the sun only reaches and outpours his smile where never a foot hath left a trace. And there are perfect nooks that have been made by the long-growing tree through some chance turn its trunk took since transformed with scent and shade, and filled with all the glory of the fern. And tender-tinted wood flowers are seen, clear starry blooms, and bells of pensive blue, that led their delicate lives there in the green. What were the world if it should lose their hue? Even o'er the rough outjutting stone that blocks the narrow way some cunning hand hath strewn the moss in rich adornment, and the rocks down there seem written thick with many a rune. And here upon that stone we rest awhile, for we can see the lovely rivers fall, and wild and sweet the place is to beguile my love and keep her till I tell her all. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of 100 Great Poems, compiled by Richard James Cross.